they love to act like um, boycotting or black out Asian businesses is not working. It's only a TikTok. People want their mouth. I'm gonna flip my camera and I'm gonna show you this restaurant. I've opened like last week, if I'm not mistaken. Closed down now. Let me show you. As you can see, FBA stand up. As you can see right here, this business is shut down. It's closed right here. So they love to act like this is only on TikTok. It's working, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, the first restaurant, but the first business in the black community should be the Asian restaurant. The food is no good anyway, to be honest with you. FBA stand.
I saw this thing online of how the black people are not going to these salons or this. They are seriously boycotting these Asian people. We are not funding them anymore. It's empty. Look at this. I thought it was a joke. Ain't nobody in there. Wow. Look at this. They are not playing. Talking all of that shit about the niggas, and the niggas ain't going in there to buy you nothing. Wow, I thought it was a joke, but they are not playing with these Asian people. Ain't nobody in there. Saying they don't need the black dollar.
I just seen this Asian dude say they need to make 14 to 16,000 at his restaurant in the next 2 days.
Damn, that's a
or
lot
his
of
ass is
fried rice,
going
bro.
out of business. You feel me? Niggas is borrowing money to make payroll. Yeah, I know. 4,500 every 2 weeks.
It happens.
I know. Still got rent. Still got car notes. Still got a whole lot of them bills is piling up. Them bills is piling up. Did I not say this would happen weeks ago? I did. I love to see it. I love to see it. I'm not saying I love to see them struggling and shit. They people should be supporting their people. You feel me?
Facts. I agree.
Meanwhile, black business is booming. Booming. I'm seeing hella people saying that their business has been doing numbers in the black community. You feel me? I said that income was gonna drop, and it did. It's basically non-existent. Can't even make payroll. This is going out of business. But yeah, I love to see my people say they gonna do some shit and actually do that shit. Ooh, it feels amazing.
As a business owner, I hate to see any business suffer. Let me say that because I know how hard it is, and I know how much money you have to put into your business to get it out the ground. For the first few years, you're gonna take losses. You know what I mean? So when you finally get a point where your business is making money, you're happy, you're excited. It's like a dream come true. In this case here, with the Rick Child incident with Asians having to go, a lot of Asian mom and pop Asians going out of business. I don't even think it was the Rick Child verdict that really did it then. You know, although a lot of black folk were disappointed in that verdict with Rick Child and Cyrus Belton, Carmack Belton, I think what really did a lot of the Asian businesses in was when the lady and the guy came out and they pretty much threatened and doubled down on some stuff. And they challenged the black community. And then the black community was like, okay, we'll show you how our ancestors did with the Montgomery boycott. And so that's what's going on right now in the Asian community. And a lot of people a lot of these Asian restaurants or Asian business that was month to month can't make payroll and can't make rent. And they are starting to go out of business. I saw 3 within probably a 10-mile radius of my home that went out of business. So it is what it is. But like I said, I hate to see any business go out of a business knowing you can put your lifelong blood, sweat, and tears in it to get that business up. But it is what it is. Let's move to the next one.
Hi, I know that there are plenty of black people on these platforms who are far more qualified, educated, and experienced than me to talk about the impetus and context behind black folks boycotting Asian businesses. I just wanted to pop on here and remind folks who still don't get it yet that black people can boycott whomever and whatever the fuck they want. I will say that again for the racists in the back. Black people at any time can boycott whomever and whatever the fuck they want because, agree or disagree, we still live in a violent settler colonial society which continues to extract and profit from black bodies, Black culture, Black education, Black invention, and yes, even Black resistance. So instead of complaining about Black people boycotting something else, you should realize you're the problem if in 2026 you cannot understand why a group of people who were at one time trafficked and deeded as property and literally used as currency and venture capital, why they don't want to participate in this system anymore, especially if it is consistently hurting them. And if you can't understand that, then shut the fuck up. I hope this helps.
So a ticking time bomb that I feel like not a lot of people know about is the fact that most of your favorite local Chinese restaurants that are being owned by like Chinese immigrants are probably not going to be around within the next 10 to 15 years. And this is because, for context, my parents own a Chinese restaurant, and basically all of our friends and family in our like community also own their own Chinese restaurants. So, you know, what I know is happening is that a lot of these people who came to America, you know, a couple decades ago, opened up their Chinese restaurants. They're getting to the age now where they are trying to figure out how to retire and how to essentially like what to do with the business. And so one of the options obviously is to sell it to someone else who wants to continue operating the restaurant, you know, as it currently is. And basically, from what my parents have told me, the prices that these businesses, like these Chinese restaurants, are going for on these like Chinese communities forums where people are like listing their restaurants, these restaurants are being sold for dirt cheap because you are not getting the same influx of people coming into the US as like first-gen immigrants who wants to own and operate Chinese restaurants. This is an incredibly labor-intensive line of work, and these owners, like, you could say, oh, like, why don't they just pass it down to their kids? Most of the Chinese people that I know whose family own restaurants, their kids, you know, my friends whose parents own restaurants, it was not even a question whether or not they wanted to like take on the family business, right? Like, the people who own and operate these restaurants know how extremely labor intensive and difficult it is to do this line of work. And that's because so much of the labor that goes into making and preparing your food is done by hand. It is not automated. Like, we, at least in my family's restaurant, we make every single dumpling by hand. And like the filling that goes into these dumplings, we make that by hand too. Like, my parents literally like grind up the pork. They hand chop the scallions, like hand measure all of like the sauces and everything. Like, it is so labor intensive to own and operate a Chinese restaurant. So like, of course they don't want me to go into this line of work. Like, so realistically, what is going to happen to these Chinese restaurants is that they, you know, either just close up shop and the owners are just like, okay, like, sorry, we're not doing this anymore, can't find any buyers. Or, you know, if you do find buyers, like, who knows who these buyers are going to be, whether or not they're going to be able to run the restaurant with the same level of care as, you know, was previously able to be managed by these original owners. Or realistically, what's going to happen is that private equity is going to come in, buy up these restaurants because the prices for them are like dirt cheap right now, and they're going to cut costs wherever they can, cut labor wherever they can, which means the quality of your food is no longer, like, it's just not going to stay the same. So all this is to say, please go support your local Chinese restaurant, like your local mom and pop restaurant. Tell your friends, tell your family, like, these businesses they're not going to exist in the same way in the next 10 to 15 years. So go support them while you can.
Across America, many small businesses are facing difficult challenges. Higher rent, inflation, changing neighborhoods, labor shortages, online competition, and retirement are causing some longtime business owners to close their doors or sell businesses they've spent decades building. But every business transition also raises an important question. Who will own the next generation of neighborhood businesses? For many people in the Black community, this isn't about celebrating anyone else's hardship. It's about asking whether this moment could become an opportunity to build wealth, create jobs, and strengthen communities that have often had fewer opportunities to own local businesses. Let's take a closer look.
This is why when y'all say Black people can't come together, I just shut my mouth, because y'all are showing out on this Asian boycott. Saturday, June the 6th, empty. Nail salons, empty. Y'all are showing out. Now, if you recall, he's the one that told us that we couldn't survive without any Asian-owned, stores in our community, and told us if we did a boycott, he would take away the laundry mats, right? They would not have laundry mats for us, as if we don't own washers and dryers in 2026. Now, some of you actually seem to be surprised at the Asian community, some of them anyway, that are really thinking that we're ignorant and too ignorant to have our own. Guys, don't forget about 2023. Do y'all remember in 2023 when they ended affirmative action? And that was in part to the Asian community. They let themselves be pushed to end affirmative action against the blacks. And people always say against the blacks as if we're the only community and we're the number one community to benefit from affirmative action. We weren't, but that's a discussion for another day. So in case you didn't know, the Asian American Coalition for Education, along with 60 other Asian American groups, got together and filed several civil rights law complaints against Harvard, okay? And they supported students for fair admissions. Now, if students for fair admissions sound familiar, that's because they are the ones who filed these lawsuits that went to the Supreme Court. President and fellows of Harvard College and also against University of North Carolina. They combined the two. They said that they felt it was so unjust. They were expected to perform higher to get into Ivy League colleges. And that's not the case for everyone, i.e. black people. They decided to do it in groups so that no one could pick out a specific Asian American to target. But the fact that there were 60 different groups along with the Asian American Coalition for Education speaks volumes. Now, once affirmative action ended, do you think there was a big surge of acceptance into Ivy League colleges for Asian Americans? No poochie pies. According to the Manhattan Institute, there was a 2% increase across the board of Asian Americans being accepted into Ivy League schools. However, there was a decline in Blacks and Hispanic enrollment. Like other communities, Asian communities seem to forget that they benefit from all the hard work that the Black community has done. And that's okay if you forget. We don't have to remind you because, baby, we just keep doing what we do, which is us. So I'm proud of all you guys standing in solidarity because they're basically calling us stupid as hell, and we're not. Leave me a comment. Bye, y'all. Bye.